Welcome to the GPT Classroom. On this episode, a look at ChatGPT through parent-teacher conference checklists.
Okay, let's get started with ChatGPT. The first thing you want to do is in your browser, go to chat.openai.com. And you'll walk through the sign-up process here. You'll enter your email address, or you can just sign in with Google or Microsoft. It will also ask you for a phone number, so you'll need to enter that in as well. Once you've created your account and you go to chat.openai.com again, it'll bring you back to this screen, and this time you'll click Login. Then, using your credentials, you'll go ahead and log in. It'll bring you to this screen. It may look a little different if you don't have the Plus version. But I do have the Plus version. If you don't, it might just say ChatGPT. Up here is where you can change the version. If you do have the Plus version, you can change it to ChatGPT 4. They're starting to roll out some new features such as web surfing and other cool things. So keep an eye out if you do have the Plus version for new features rolling out. But we don't need any of that right now. We're going to just search with the default GPT 3.5. So down here is where you're going to enter your prompt. Now, this is a little different than Google, where you're putting in keywords and getting back a list of results. Think of this more as a conversation. So I could enter something like this.
I have parent-teacher conferences coming up next week. Can you create a list to help me prepare a checklist for each meeting?
Here are our results. So as you can see, ChatGPT 3.5 is really fast. ChatGPT 4 is a lot slower than this in giving you results, but it can handle much more complex results, or much more complex queries, I should say. So we'll try that same exact query in ChatGPT 4 in just a second, but let's look at these results first. So I said, I have parent-teacher conferences coming up next week. Can you create a list to help me prepare and a checklist for each meeting? ChatGPT says, sure. Here's a checklist to help you prepare for each parent-teacher conference. Preparation checklist. 1. Review the student's academic progress, including grades, assignments, and test scores. Consider the student's behavior in class, including participation, attendance, and engagement. Identify any areas of concern or areas where the student is excelling. Prepare examples of the student's work to share with the parents. Make a list of questions or concerns you may have for the parents. Be prepared to discuss any accommodations or modifications the student may need. Familiarize yourself with the student's strengths and weaknesses, and be prepared to discuss ways to support their academic progress. And finally, set goals for the student's academic and personal growth. Now we have a checklist for each meeting. Greet the parent and introduce yourself. Ask the parent about their concerns or questions. Share your observation of the student's progress and any area of concern. Blah, blah, blah. Let's say, well, at my school,
we do student-led conferences. Please generate a conference checklist.
You don't even have to be that eloquent. It's really good at figuring out what you mean. And if it doesn't, you can always just keep going and clarify, or say, oh, actually what I meant, and I even typed that in there. Oh, sorry, I meant blah, 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 blah. You'll see that ChatGPT is also very apologetic when you say, oh no, that's not what I meant. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, which I think is kind of funny. Anyway, so here is our checklist for student-led conferences. Review the student, blah, 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 so same thing. And then now we have the checklist for each meeting. Greet the parent, ask the student to begin the presentation and share their progress and goals. Be prepared to provide additional information, or blah, blah, blah. So anyway, you can see just within a couple of seconds an entire list. And then let's say, I want these to actually be something we can put as a checklist. So I want these checklists in table format. Let's see. Here we go. Now we actually have a checklist. So there you go. Creating a checklist for your parent-teacher conferences with GPT. Done in under 10 minutes. Now think about what you can do with all that extra time. But let's say you want to actually copy this checklist. All you need to do is go right up here and click this, and as soon as you see that check mark, it means it's copied, and you can go and paste it into an Excel spreadsheet, into a Google Sheets, into a doc, whatever your preferred place to put that would be. As I promised, let's see what that same prompt looks like, our original prompt. If we put this into GPT-4. So just off screen here, I clicked New Chat in the top left. It will save your chats for you, but you can disable that. I will do that in another video to show you just how to do that. Alright, so now we are in GPT-4. Just really quick, what this stuff over here is, it looks like they're just about to get rid of this one. It's pretty slow, it's mid-range on reasoning, and it's not very concise. So that's the original GPT 3.5. And then the current GPT 3.5 still has the same reasoning, but it's a lot faster and it's a little more concise. However, if we look at GPT-4, you can see it's pretty slow, but the reasoning and the conciseness are pretty awesome. So let's see what happens if we put that exact same prompt into GPT-4. Of course. Let's see, I said, I have parent-teacher conferences coming up next week. Can you create a list to help me prepare and a checklist for each conference? Of course, here's a list to help you prepare. So they created a list similar to the one that we saw before, but you can see this one it's more detailed. I didn't ask it to be more detailed. It just has bullet points for each thing to kind of help make sure that you are understanding what each of those items is in the list. And then now we get to the meeting checklist. So welcome and introductions, same thing before, but again with a little bit more detail. Awesome. So as you can see, it's a lot slower. It kind of reminds me, if you're a Gen Xer like me, it reminds me of the old 14.4 and 28.8 modems when you were trying to load a picture or something. But the information that comes out of here is amazing. So as you can see, it's a lot more detailed. I would love to see this one in the table. Put in the table. There it goes, step by step. Step by step. I probably can't sync any more of that without it being a copyright violation, so I'll stop right there. But I hope you have enjoyed this little intro to ChatGPT with OpenAI, and please let me know in the comments what questions you have and where you'd like to go next.
Thanks for visiting the GPT Classroom. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share with your friends. And don't forget to stay curious.